You are watching the Polecast.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Good afternoon, North America, and welcome into the Polecast for this Saturday, July 5th, 4th of July weekend. And we're here today sweating our ass off at about 90-degree weather with 95% humidity, which is not kind to electronics. As an echo on a ODA, the communications guy, I typically had to deal with a lot of electronical issues. So this is no different, unfortunately, and we're doing take two, but we're all glad to be here. I'm very thankful of everybody that came today, and we have a really good show for you. Unfortunately, that's probably not today, but here in the very near future, I'm sure that we will at some point get, or at least I will get my shit together. But welcome into the Polecast. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and make a journey around the table and introduce everybody. First up, we have on the right, sitting shotgun as usual, is the Colonel. Colonel, you want to say hi again? Maybe one more time for the audience. Go ahead, sir. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure as well. Thank you for coming in, friend. To his right, sitting second shotgun, is a one Mr. Larry the Cable Guy, not for Dish Network, but for Time Warner, is the rumor that's going around the table right now. So, Larry, thank you for coming in. You want to say hi to the folks?
Hello, and happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day
Safe.
to you as well. But wait, there is more. There is more. We have the dynamic duo here as well, live in studio before they are to depart on their 60-month mission to a foreign land. Mr. White and Mr. Black, always good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Say hi, gentlemen.
Greetings.
Salutations.
They nailed it. They nailed it. Hopefully we nailed it this time, too, because we were having some issues. But, you know, like when you're on a team and when, you're in a fight, you gotta drive on. You got to push forward. You've got to adjust with the punches. And I think we do that swimmingly. I'm saying that because I'm the jackass who's screwing stuff up or having technical problems. So thank you, everybody, for coming in and dealing with this heat. And for sharing a little time together on 4th of July, which is one of my favorite holidays because I get to shoot off fireworks. And we took a second mortgage out on the house about 2 weeks ago. We're going to have a damn good show tonight, isn't that right? So we do have some topics of the last couple weeks, some interesting stories. It seems like it's a fire hydrant as of late with just how fast things are happening, a lot of movement, a lot of, dare I say, fog of war at times, it feels like. And there's just so much in the news. So we're going to touch on several things. We got some slides that we want to show you. The main point of the show today is we wanted to talk a little bit about some interesting facts about the 4th of July. Some things maybe that people didn't know or maybe don't remember, or maybe were never taught that in school, some of the things that we're going to discuss. But before we get into that, like I said, we do have some news of the last couple weeks and where we should start off. Where might we start off? I think because it's fresh on everybody's mind, and the president, he did sign the big, beautiful bill yesterday, so I think that's a perfect start where we could start off. So we're going to jump right into 4th of July yesterday. President Trump signed into law the big, beautiful bill. Obviously, there's a lot that we just don't know about yet because, as Nancy Pelosi would say, you got to sign these things before you can find out what's in them, which is mostly how people operate in life. You just kind of sign stuff without reading the print. So with our first slide, let's
Isn't
take
that
a
how
look
you got
at,
that shirt?
This shirt I won in a contest, a fish scaling contest, and this is one of my prized possessions. But right here, now this is what I dug up, and I know that Mr. White was taking a look at a couple things, but we'll just kind of glance over some of the things that have come out of the big beautiful bill from what I looked into. And as you can see right off the top, some of the things that were already mentioned before, and that I've also read this is kind of a continuation of what Biden and the Democrats were doing as well. Some of the big things, though, are no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, no tax on made in the America auto loans. That's interesting.
Which is funny because almost no cars are made in America anymore. They
Well,
may say assembled, which is
Yeah.
where they wordsmith things. So
Yeah.
like Ford's a really good example. They'll say assembled in Detroit, but almost all the parts from Ford are Mexico, Chinese, or Canadian.
Yeah.
And
So
all they did was put the lug nuts on the tires.
That's it. Assembled. Yep.
So, yeah, what is that like? Is it a percentage then?
Oh, it would be like if you buy an American car, big three, then you would get no tax on the loan.
But isn't Toyota made in America?
I
it
think
was
some of the
Japanese.
Camrys, some of the Tundras and Tacomas are made in Texas, but they also use out-of-country parts. And then I think most of your Lexuses and then like the 4Runners actually still made in Japan.
Okay, all right.
Mr. White, you know a lot about cars for driving a Toyota Camry.
That's correct. Thank you.
It gets good gas mileage from what I hear, and it's very safe and efficient.
That's right. Yeah, yes, right. Correct. Yep.
Also protects 2 million family farms from punitive double taxation. Now, I don't know, Larry. Would you happen to know anything about that? Does that?
No.
This is your time to shine, cable guy.
We're small farm. They're talking.
But you don't get taxed on that marijuana you're growing, do you?
No, that's free and clear.
I wasn't actually supposed to say anything about that. I'm sorry about that, Larry. I completely shit the bed on that one.
Sure we don't want to start over again.
We're gonna start over. We're gonna mail this one then.
I'll be seeing a drone over my property.
We have them here all the time. They're always flying below ceiling.
I think they're
continuing
jealous of
on-
your hair.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Well,
You can smell
I
the
am.
fruits and berries I mash into my hair every week, wafting in the winds. So, permanent increase to the child tax credit, supporting over 40 million families. That doesn't seem, seems good looking out for the kids. A vote against this bill is a vote for the largest tax increase in history. Okay, a vote against this bill, that doesn't seem like it's a highlight. But moving on, rescinding billions in green new scam funding. I like that. Restores fiscal sanity, slashing deficits by roughly $2 trillion. which we have another slide we'll get to a little bit later on in the show where, hey, that's great, but where's that 21 trillion that the DOD and the Pentagon lost over the course of like 15 years? Yeah, no big deal. We're moving on. Eliminates waste, fraud, and abuse from bloated federal programs. That should be a no-brainer. I mean, that's one of the problems, at least personally, with this bill, is that it does not. We're not putting a governor on the spending. We're continuing to spend, and I don't really see any cuts. I mean, they're saying cuts, but obviously until we see it, it's just a lot of hot air. Deport at least 1 million illegal aliens a year. So he's got 4 years. That's 4 million. I think Obama did 10 million in 2 terms. So, I mean, personally, I was more for. I thought there would be a little more, of mass deportation. Hopefully, a lot of these people are self-deporting via some of the
We're just getting
programs.
started too, because this bill actually, the next point, providing nearly 150 billion to secure our border and deport illegal aliens. That's getting wrapped up in ICE, and I believe ICE, Border Patrol, and then Homeland Security are getting anywhere. I could be off, between 40,000 more agents.
Really, now I'm
What
wondering,
they're
are they
hiring, that's
taking?
wrapped in the bill? So, and I also heard a stat. And I don't know if it's true or not, but with this bill, if ICE were a military, it would be the second highest funded military in the world.
Really?
I heard that too.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true, but
I wonder if they're,
on YouTube news, so take that for what it is.
if they, you remember the 20,000 IRS agents? I wonder if this maybe is a kind of a mash.
I think it's a finger to that.
Yeah, like
He wants to
maybe-
reduce the IRS.
Yeah.
Actually, he wants to get rid of it, doing external IRS. So this is like, oh, you want to, what are they talking about, 50,000 IRS agents?
Yeah.
The previous administration. So this is him being like, oh, okay. I'll counter your 50,000 ICE agents or IRS with 40,000 border or immigration-related agents or hires. So
Okay, so Mr. Whitedor mentioned the one right below that. Funds the Golden Dome missile defense system to confront 21st century threats. Yeah, do any of you have any feelings on that? Any personal feelings on that? I got some to add after. Go ahead, Mr. Black.
It's gonna be a big ass dome.
Well, you're from the South area. I mean, the Superdome was pretty big. Yeah. Do you think they could make a America Dome like that?
Well, they could try.
They could try. That's a lot of scaffolding. I'm just thinking in my head, it's a lot of
I
scaffolding.
think this has a little bit to do with what we talked about earlier with how Trump and Israel are like deeply intertwined with each other.
they're like peanut butter and jelly,
So
bro.
I have just a couple stats on that right here. Golden Dome missile shield, costly to new SDI. The bill steers an initial $25 billion as down payment for Trump's ambitious Golden Dome nationwide missile defense shield, ultimately projected to cost $175 billion.
How much was that again?
$175 billion. So all you're really doing is you're just fueling the military-industrial complex.
That's
which,
kind of what I was thinking.
But also to kind of like play the devil's advocate for that, like one of the reasons why we have some of the best equipment is because we pay good for innovation. So having these advanced weapons, you have to pay people for it. And without paying people well, you're not going to bring the minds that are able to innovate like these people can.
I immediately thought, like, is that a nod to the industrial war machine? Like, we're going to get you your money.
Yep.
So moving on, delivers the largest Coast Guard upgrade since World War II, stopping Fenty and criminal cartels by sea. Give them the Nimitz. Aren't they decommissioning that? Modernizes our military to ensure it has the resources to be ready. Lethal fighting force after lethal fighting force after 4 years of weakness. It's hard for me to read, it's a little far away. Weakness by the Biden administration, ends Biden's war on American energy and drives down energy costs, unleashes domestic oil, gas, and nuke power, restoring energy independence. Any thoughts on that? Do you guys have any?
Also, this bill authorizes us to give Israel B-2 bombers,
That's great.
along with the bunker buster bombs that they used to attack Iran, along with $500 million in munitions worth of JDAMs, which are
That-
like 2,000-pound smart bombs.
The B2 thing, I don't get that. There's enough bases, U.S. military bases in the area where there's no need for them to have that capability. And for a country that's always clamoring about how Iran is always 2 weeks away for the last 40 years from a nuke, and they haven't been able to procure one, I don't see the necessity for giving them such a lethal platform like that. I think it's overkill, and maybe it's that there's some technology, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Darkstar, some of the aerial platforms that are like top secret, like how it's like a supersonic stealth jet, like what's going to be the next. You know how they revealed that fighter, like the X. The giant wing, the B2, the giant wing, like, I mean, that's 40-year-old tech. So, like, what have they been working on since? And one of the things that they think is like, it's like, I think it's Project Darkstar, but it's a crazy looking jet, and it's like supposed to be the next thing where it goes up in, you know, the upper portion of the atmosphere. So is it like they're giving them what we would think is our current tech that we're using, because we ain't seen what we have in the waiting, you know, like the next big thing. Like we were using, I remember in the Marines, we had this, like, it was almost like laser tag. We had to wear, Colonel, you ever use those? Or Mr. White, do you ever use those? They had like, you had to put these sensors on your helmet.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're terrible.
Terrible.
You know, and then to me, the advancement to that was like boo barrels. It's like
Talking
somebody
about
was
the
like,
Miles gear.
yeah, the Miles
Yeah,
gear. It
dude,
was
I'd
terrible.
rather get shot with a sim round than put that Miles
Yeah.
gear on.
Yeah, it
Around
was clunky.
20 pounds worth of sensors and lasers.
Didn't work.
Yep.
It didn't work. So, did anybody else have anything to add on the big beautiful bill that I just signed with Melania?
There's a lot that's undisclosed.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, is that we're not going to really be able to see what's in this thing until probably, you know, it's really hashed out and somebody just kind of breaks the whole thing apart. Like most of these things, we never find out till several weeks or months later. So some of that, I mean, it seems good on paper. Will it come to fruition? We have no idea. So moving along, one of the things I thought was important, New York is our biggest city. And Governor Cuomo was running for mayor against a kind of an unknown. Most of us wouldn't know who this guy is, but his name's, I think it's Zorhan Membadi or something like that. The thing you need to take home from this is he is an outspoken socialist, and we have a little video we're going to play for you to kind of demonstrate his philosophy on governing the largest city in America. And if you're thinking it's something that's maybe down the road, old school Democrat, you would be pretty far off. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up real quick.
Is he Muslim?
He is Muslim. He's he's
What
a
are the
rapper.
chances
He's a
that-
rapper as well.
If he gets elected, we'll have a Muslim governing the New York City during the 25th anniversary of 9/11.
Well, that was a big point that people brought up as well. Like, obviously, you can see see Bernie Sanders here. He's got ties to the Bernie Bros, and is it Letitia James? She's the New York Attorney General.
Also, I don't know if you guys know this. Bernie Sanders just went on Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh yeah, I did. I didn't see that.
I watched maybe half of it, but the big takeaway is Joe Rogan asked a lot of really good questions, and Bernie Sanders doesn't have any answers.
No.
I don't have any answers, but if you have a bagel, I'll eat it.
But
Hey.
what else is new, you know?
Hey, I think you should wear that middle bottom picture. That's what you should wear while you're doing your cooking video, making your mac and cheese.
That's how we can. That's how we can pay for better equipment around here.
Yeah, I think those little straps will
I
barely
am all
cover
for
your-
that.
Barely
That,
cover your
and I'll
nipples.
start selling feet pics too.
When we get that food truck up and running, maybe we could sling some of that mac and cheese on.
One of these days, my OnlyFeet account's going to take off.
It is.
I thought I had that video. I guess I do not. But I guess just the thing I found interesting, Mr. Black alluded to it. The whole, it's coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Having somebody who's an outspoken socialist who literally has said that he wants to take the means of productions out of the hands of the population and put it in the hands of the government.
Government-run grocery stores.
Which and then the next domino to fall for that is it moves on to communism. So it's
Sign Larry up.
I'll be right there.
You see the idea that was floated around where the grocery stores will have adjustable prices based on how much money you make.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Kroger is going to
Yes,
use
that'd
facial
be perfect in
recognition
New York.
Yeah.
and attach it to your account, kind of like social crediting that
Yep.
they do in China.
How many people have went to like Publix and bought a 12-pack or a 6-pack, and when you go through the self-checkout, there's no ID check, and you know why? Because they're using facial recognition. Yep.
No way.
Yes way. I went through and bought beer, and I was like, because normally an associate will come over and say, "Hey, I just need to, do a quick ID check." Right through. Yep.
So they can know what you buy and raise prices.
Absolutely.
You gotta grow it all.
Like your marijuana field.
Well, I don't know if are they using that. I heard Aldi's in Europe is one of the biggest grocery stores that's using that type of technology where
yeah.
you either have to have it on your phone or your smartwatch.
Yep.
And I think even like the Meta glasses, they can hold your personal information. So if you have those glasses on, it'll pretty much. And have you guys I don't have any videos or anything to show about that, but have any of you seen what those Meta glasses can do? They literally you can look at somebody, and it can ID them.
Yeah. Yep.
Now this isn't happening here in the United States. It's happening over in Europe. They're testing it.
Yep.
But you're wearing the glasses and you're talking to somebody, and it pops up their Facebook information and who
Like
they
the Terminator
are.
targeting.
Yeah.
And it's always a good reminder, even for myself, Rambo, is when I did that contract in Rome, New York, and they said your top of your earlobe and your walking gait is as distinguishable as your fingerprint. It's always a good reminder, even to hear it myself.
Yeah. It's
that was
So cover your ears and walk weird.
Dude, yeah.
Throw a rock in your shoe.
it's some
Exactly.
creepy stuff right there.
Yep.
So we just wanted to bring
Maybe
that.
stomp on your toes.
I don't know what that means exactly, but moving on. The next slide we had to bring up a little more news from the last couple weeks. Now, I brought this up because I think it's kind of it's all smoke and mirrors. We've been waiting for the Epstein files now for years, literally, along with 9/11, along with JFK, and it's just kind of more hot air and lip service. And the most recent round of lip service coming out of the AG's mouth is now she's threatening to bring to justice Anthony Mayorkas for his involvement with bringing over 20 million illegals into the United States. Not to mention there's still over 300,000 children that are missing. But I found it interesting that if they do bring charges against any of these people in the Biden administration as top cabinet officials, a lot of them have dual citizenship. And there's been a trend when it comes to Israel of child molesters and child predators or sex offenders that have dual citizenship that have been able to evade justice by fleeing to Israel.
You anti-Semite.
I've been called that. I am not against Shem. But I'm wondering, if this ever does happen, if they need to have a scapegoat, somebody to, pin to the wall, and if it was somebody like Americus, would he flee? Or some of these other people on this list, because, I look at Anthony Blinken, Merrick Garland, Janet Yellen, and they all kind of, I think, contributed to the demise of the country over the last 4 years. And will we ever see any justice as far as that? I'm not going to hold my breath. So I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. Along with that, obviously we had the attacks in Iran where we took out allegedly their nuclear facility or their capabilities, or set them back 10 years, whatever it is. And I kind of felt like whatever deal they're working out in the background, they, these targets and these sites that they hit, they already worked that out. They pre-gamed it. So really nothing was going to be hit. They were going to allow them time to move whatever they wanted out of there before we actually hit it. And it's almost like, it almost looks like theater to me. And there's a little cartoon that I wanted to play that kind of demonstrates that. And
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Doesn't Iran do the same thing when they're about to bomb like an American base in Syria? They do like the same thing. They let them know like a day or two, like a warno, so they can move troops out of the shelling
Trump
area.
even talked about that in an interview with Maria Bartiromo, I think her name is, where he's like, "Look, they called me, and they told me, and I told them it's okay." And they worked out a deal beforehand where this, there wasn't going to be. And right before we hit Iran, there was that air base. There was news and reports coming out that there was nobody there. There was nothing there. So it was
It's all to save face with their people. How weird.
Yeah. How weird.
What a weird.
Like, if you just did the right thing to begin with, you wouldn't have to do all this cloak and dagger bullshit.
Yeah, it's bizarro land.
And then it's like, well, who do I trust? If you can't just come out
Nobody.
and be upfront about it, it's a lot of cloak and dagger. So I have a little video I want to play real quick that'll kind of illustrate in about a minute the situation between Trump, Benjamin, I think it's not Netanyahu, it's Mirkowitz or something like that. It's his real last name. And the Ayatollah in a car. It's like babysitting your sister's kids. Let's take a look at that.
Like to smack you. He started it.
No, he started it.
Ayatollah, that's it. In 30 seconds, I'm going to slap you. I'm warning you so you can move your head mostly out of the way.
Don't do it, Donald. Just let them fight it out back there.
15,
Donald, my king, do not.
3, 2, 1, smack. In 30 seconds, I am throwing my juice box at you. No, you are not. I am warning you so you can avoid any damage. 15 seconds. That's it. Both of you sit on your hands. You have 15 seconds to get your hands under your butts.
What are they doing?
Getting their last slaps in before the ceasefire. Good. No more seatbelts! No more seatbelts for you!
Hey, we were back here hoping we could get those mass deportations now. This crap is really distracting him.
What? It's exactly what I voted for.
So that in a nutshell kind of I think that gives a pretty good illustration of what's going on right now with the whole Israel, Iran, U.S. just kind of lack of a better term, goat fuck. It's ridiculous. And no matter what, at the end of the day, it's causing human lives. People are dying while they're playing this this chess match or 40 chess or whatever the hell you want to call it. But we were talking while that was playing, and there's a picture here of this gentleman. This he's married to a woman from Alabama, and he was arrested and accused of being a sleeper cell agent. And I kind of feel like the whole deal that was worked out before they started dropping bombs on Iran is like, look, we'll let you hit this, tit for tat. We'll give you a couple names. You got a victory here. We get a victory here. We keep our power. And it's all about still like keeping control. Mr. Black, you had said that there was another bust. There was one in L.A. I know of with several individuals that were, I think they said initially they were trafficking people. I don't know if they had any ties to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, but you said something about a bust in Louisiana.
In LSU, there were a PhD couple that were arrested, and then we were looking at the dude that was arrested in Locust Fork, Alabama, which is about an hour south of Redstone Arsenal, and he met his wife playing Call of Duty, and he's a sniper for the Iranian Guard.
Now, I have heard and I've read in some articles in Newsweek and Time that a lot of times gamers, or they will pretend that they're gamers, and they'll go on these sites and they'll conduct meets with other people because, I mean, if you're in an open sandbox type game, I mean, you could just be waiting by a building like in Grand Theft Auto or something, just waiting to meet somebody. And yeah, it's like it makes sense. Like if you were doing some type of, I don't want to say the word, we'll just say spying. You know, that would be one way to communicate without drawing attention to yourself, because you can't monitor all these games. I mean, it's like, how many games are online? I mean, I don't play so much online, Mr. White. You
millions of people online gaming at any given time.
Yeah, like how could you monitor that? You really can't.
I mean, all you would really know. I mean, a good example would be that remember that kid on Discord a couple years ago, or was it last year? He leaked some secret information.
Oh, the Air Force kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Was it on 4chan or something?
No, it was on Discord. I think it was was it aircraft related or what was it? I don't know. I think he got like wrapped up in the moment, and he's a young kid who had access to secret information, and I think he was just trying to show off, and like he just let secret information out, and
I work on the SCIF.
yeah, and someone else just happened to be in that channel and was like, "Hey,
you never know who's
secret
listening."
Information, you shouldn't be sharing that." And then he reported him, and so I mean, other than that, there's really not much else you could do. It would take somebody knowing that secret information got released by somebody, because other than that, I mean, you can't really go in there and spy. It's illegal.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and you could, like, if it was like some type of like a medieval game or something like that, and you're like, well, lightning bolt here means this, and like a sword, waving a sword like this. There's so many things you could do that it would be really hard to try to combat that. I'm thinking, and like, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Colonel.
You could have a lot of easy bona fides and make sure that you aren't getting outed.
No doubt. It's interesting. It's very interesting, and I don't think we're done seeing I think we're going to see some more, maybe a couple more of these like lone wolves or groups of individuals getting taken down, and God willing, and thank God. Personally, I thought yesterday, I thought we were going to see something happen, and yeah, and it was nice that there really wasn't
Everything
anything.
I saw as far as like shootings or mass shootings was mainly gang related.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the media is trying to spin it as a mass shooting, and it's like, no, it's just typical gang violence. Really,
Those are Larry's peeps.
Yeah. From the west side of
Yeah,
town.
he called out some hits.
Speaking of mass shootings,
I'd be calling you.
I'm not going to say the individual's name, but you can see this turd down here in the lower right that ambushed, well, I think injured over 10 individuals, killed at least 2 firefighters, and may have killed a third in Idaho last week. But
He looks awful young.
I mean, like we were talking before, I don't know if this person is I mean, it's a male, but
Is that Theo Vaughn?
That's the brown Theo. Von.
maybe it's his kid. Maybe it's one of his. Maybe he stopped in Idaho for a weekend getaway
for a show.
So let me get this up. Moving along, we're gonna. So now we're gonna shift gears a little bit, and
Hey, is
go
that guy in the
into-
left corner? Go back one. Is that a Halloween party?
Oh, that's a sad individual. Apparently, he's a king.
Yeah, we call those
of
guys
shit.
jackasses.
Yeah. Go back to your island,
Dude, I thought it was
jackass.
a good Halloween costume.
Like if I was the king, I'd be like, I'm not putting that shit on.
Yeah, I'm not wearing
I'm
it.
not walking around with this fucking stupid hat on, wearing a Harry or using a Harry Potter scepter. Pass, big time.
Unless you don't care. Thank you.
Well, there was one other thing on this that I wanted to mention. Fun fact: General Milley and Rachel Levine played football together
Thank you.
at Belmont High School in Massachusetts. And they're up there in the upper right-hand corner, and that's General Milquetoast Milley, who should be brought up on treason charges, personally.
Yeah.
Look, if we're being fair though, Millie was a cheerleader, and Adam Levine or whatever his name, he is the water boy. So let's just we can't give him too much credit here.
Yeah.
And also, the Rachel Levine, either way you look at when he or her, that's an ugly human being. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. That is one ugly human being.
Hideous.
Dude, dude, when I first saw Millie testifying in front of Congress, and I saw the Special Forces tab, my hopeful thought was, and I told my wife this, I said, I hope that he is going behind enemy lines, and
The only thing he looks
Yeah.
like he's going behind.
I don't think he
is-
was.
Did go behind enemy lines. He called China and told them what we were going to do.
Bro, I agree, but my first thought was
He said he'd never let anything
yeah,
happen. He's got the football.
He's a Green Beret, and I hope that he is staying in there to gather intel. But obviously, I don't think that was the case now. But that was my initial hope.
He's all about overthrowing governments. Just unfortunately, it was our government.
Yeah. Brain fart.
Yeah, maybe he could have a couple more.
He
rivets.
doesn't even know what woke is.
No. He wants to understand white rage. I want to understand that. That's what he said.
White rage.
Yeah, hey, you're brown. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Very astute.
Just saying.
All right, so that there is one video because of it happened yesterday.
Good. Thank you.
And I don't know why I do not have this slide, but I did also want to touch on what happened in, what happened in Texas yesterday with the flooding of the Guadalupe River, and it rose, was it 23 or 26 feet in like
27 feet in
2
4
hours.
hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
And
That's a lot.
I think so far there's, is it 28? Oh, man. Yeah, and there's also 23 missing from the Christian
girls camp.
Yeah,
that was bad.
So I had a picture of that, and I'm trying to find it. You can see right here, it's kind of showing the before and after of the devastation in the area. And as you can see, roads are gone, and
wow,
it's devastating. Now there's been some speculation on, well, is this weather manipulation because of the veracity of the storm and the fact that it was just kind of swirling like a hurricane over the top of that location, and so this was before what happened yesterday. This guy was camping in an area not too far away from there, and he was like, the rain coming down is blue.
Ooh.
And you can see here on the tarp. Now, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But it's like why would you post that? Let me backtrack it a little bit right here. And you can see like he's putting like a tissue or something on that tarp to soak up the water, and it's blue.
I will say, devil's advocate, looking at this video, how do we know they were there, and how do we know this is an American? How do we know it's not just like an opportunist? Because seeding has two E's and not EA, and so it could be like foreign, nefarious thing, just propagandizing.
That's clearly Brondo. It's got electrolytes.
It's got electrolytes in
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it could be. I have no idea. I thought it was interesting. They said that video was shot and released before the flood. Now, and this is somebody demonstrating what it looks like to actually turn on these systems while in flight and deliver the package of various metals into the atmosphere to cause rain.
Dude, Sean Ryan just did a good interview with the guy that owns one of those weather altering companies. Yeah, his name. It was good, dude.
His name is Augustus Dorico.
Yes.
Episode 207, and he said they don't
excellent.
even need planes; they can use drones. And he said it was great because actually Texas is one of the states they operate in, and but the way he described it, he said that it's a very concentrated area that they'll focus on, and they only need a couple hours in advance. They find already existing ambient clouds.
It's pretty quick.
They go in, they hit them, and it only changes it by like centimeters, he says. But then he says it's like a light switch. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can tailor it, and then he says it's not supposed to happen like that, but it seems like it did.
It did.
And the other thing is, he said they prefer to use snow instead of rain. And I don't know if you guys remember this past winter, but they were like record amounts of snowfall that swept the southeast out of nowhere.
Yep.
I mean,
total coincidence.
Total coincidence.
Yep.
All right. This is not okay. This is so. In addition to that, I thought I was playing already. It wasn't. This is from a guy into thin air. He's put out some pretty good stuff, and you can see like the radar system in that area. It's absolutely overwhelming. Say 18 hours straight. One interesting thing, I saw a picture of these girls that are apparently missing from this Christian summer camp, and the picture that they showed of them, they're all wearing white. Get out of here! I mean, they're obviously younger people.
Oh my God!
But it looked very. I don't know. It didn't look. It didn't look like that was all on the up and up. And maybe I'm just really grasping at straws about that. But all I can say is I'm praying for those folks, and hopefully, it's not a. Hopefully they do find some of them. It'd be a tragedy if they lost all those girls, and then obviously the 24 people that have died. Those, our prayers go out to those people as well. Mr. Black, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Not to overshadow what you just said, because that's more important, but it would also be interesting to consider maybe it wasn't an American. It could have been cloud seeding, not from American entity, but they said China does it like 10 times better.
China.
And then also, we're talking earlier, while we're talking about kind of Texas right here.
Yep.
Would now be a good time to segue briefly into what we're talking about, the stats with Texas growing as a Muslim state.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's
Send it.
Fast facts. Texas is the #1 state for the fastest growing amount of new Muslim mosques. The Texas state government has allocated approximately $13 million in taxpayer funds to 18 Islamic organizations in 2025. It's now ranked the 3rd for most Muslim mosques in the nation, and it's expected to overtake California for the #1 ranking for most mosques nationwide by 2025-2030, potentially as early as 2025 if the rate of new mosques being built continues. So what if this was also just part of maybe not China but Iran destabilizing the state, setting conditions so that they could come in and plant new roots in the area?
Kind of like what they did in South Carolina, maybe?
Yeah.
North Carolina, that area where it looked like the hurricane was kind of like going one way, and then all of a sudden it shoots up this way and caused all that devastation, flooding, and I mean that area is still.
Yeah.
I mean, is in
We
shambles.
rarely think they had. Guys, think about this simple statement. They had flooding in the mountains.
Yeah. If you can't change their minds,
Yeah, that's
just destroy
bizarre,
them.
man.
Probably that's
Yes.
probably the way that
Yep.
Yeah.
they see it.
It's not only that, but Minneapolis now, in the city, in the not the whole metro area, but within the city, they are now having call to prayer 5 times a day. They're playing over the loudspeaker system within the city.
That's Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Oh, so Minnesota, the state that adopted the Somali flag as their state flag.
That's right.
That's,
that is same with
almost,
Ilhan Omar, the great patriot congresswoman from Minnesota.
Isn't that Governor Walz's state, the almost vice president of the United States?
Tampon Tim.
I believe so.
Tampon Tim, that's it.
The guy who had National Guard go through the streets of Minneapolis and shoot people with rubber bullets,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't leave their house
For being
during
on their
COVID.
porch.
Yeah, for being on their porch.
Yep.
I should have put that video in here, but
Yep.
That really happened. I did not. I
That
wasn't
really
tracking that.
happened.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I just watched it today. I don't know why I didn't put it in because it didn't really pertain to this, but
Hey, but this is the same party that talks about like the insurrection. They talk about people being dangerous for arresting illegal immigrants and
Well,
Yep.
and that's why I put like in this for the big beautiful bill. I put Ilhan Omar's smug face up there because here's a person who we know she married her brother.
hey, look, I'll tell you what, incest is the best. If you're not good enough for your family, who the hell are you good enough for? You know what I mean?
Hey, Hey, we got a Rothschild in the house. It's Lord Rothschild here.
You couldn't say that years ago, could you?
I fancy my second cousin the most.
'Cause we like to keep the money in the family.
There's nothing wrong with open mouth kissing my sister. I put this up here with Ilhan Omar and this other 3 aliens.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous of the top left's wig.
I don't know if that's a dude or a woman in a suit. I'll leave it alone.
That's a hell of a hairpiece.
But Ilhan Omar,
I've seen Larry wear one like that.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Larry, you'd look good with long hair.
I used to have long hair and a full beard.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I got to see some pics of this.
We have some. I was raised in the 70s. I mean, you gotta remember.
You were a hippie, weren't you, Larry?
Okay.
Hey, we have contradicting information here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we have the truth back there in the corner, don't we?
Long hair. I had as long as yours.
Really?
Are you serious?
Intel confirmed.
Respect.
And then
Yep.
my-
Shut up and down.
That's how
Outside.
That's how my mom disciplined me. If she didn't like what I said, she grabbed my hair and yanked it down to the floor. And I followed it down there. She goes, "I'll show you."
Every time I see I watch some of these vines of people fighting, and it's like a guy with long hair and he gets his hair pulled, and immediately I go to my hair like, man, maybe it is time to cut it, just in case, because God, that'd be the worst.
Mike, have you ever considered a man bun?
I have, but my significant other, she said that not in this house.
Hey, the only thing I ask before you cut it is that we spoof the Rambo skit where he's on the electric.
Oh yeah, on the mattress,
on the
the
electric
mattress
bed
springs.
frame, and then he grabs the microwave or the microphone and says, "Murdoch, I'm coming for you."
You got to let me get back into shape. I am
Well,
not.
then get your ass back in shape.
Bro, I tore my pec.
Okay.
I've got literally I've got to wear a bra now. I've got to wear a
Larry the Cable
singular
Guy.
bra for this.
Mr.
this
White,
pec.
didn't we talk about excuses earlier today? Yep. They're like assholes. They all stink and we all have them.
I'll do some side straddle hops immediately after this,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about that.
As long as you
scene.
can spoof that skit, I don't care what you got.
Murdoch, I'm coming for you, Murdoch. Oh, I completely forgot what I was saying. Oh, so I just wanted to say this again real quick. So we have Ilhan Omar, the purveyor of wisdom in Minneapolis, an open incest advocate. Somebody who also has pretty much denounced America in favor of Somalia, and she's still a congresswoman.
Hey, one more thing. Can you just scroll the mouse over to that thing that's on the left of her? What is that on top of it?
I can't do that. It looks like
Wait, is that that's a wig,
because
right?
it's on the switch. I can't move the mouse over, but it looks like the Simpsons meet like the ambiguously gay duo from Saturday Night Live.
The ambiguously gay duo.
Yeah, that can't be his real hair.
No, that's a hairpiece.
And what's that woman below him, frog face? She's a congresswoman too, isn't she?
That's Pepe the Frog.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she puts atrazine in her water.
She is atrazine.
People are like, oh, these guys are bigots.
Alex Jones was right.
There are people who are like, these guys are bigots. Okay, so we'll switch then to the other topic of discussion, which is some interesting facts about the 4th of July. I think we can all rally behind that. The first one that I found that was really interesting, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, is that at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, the Brits, the Redcoats, King of England, was asking for support from the Russians, and the Empress Catherine the Great, she said no. They were asking for 20,000 troops, and obviously he was going to pay for them, but she felt that if she did that, it would draw her or Russia into war with France. It was also thought that she despised the King of England. So Russia at that time indirectly supported America because one of the other things she thought was as a fresh starting, newly formed republic in its very fragile infancy stage, that it wouldn't be right for them to intervene, and really it was Great Britain stepping on their own crank, and it was their fault that this war had taken place. So they indirectly supported us at that time, and I found it interesting, the dynamic of where Russia is now, they've been our enemy since the fall of the Soviet Union, kind of. Go ahead, Mr. Black, you were going to say something.
Well, they've been our enemy since the Soviet Union became a thing, because they went from the monarchy, the Tsar Republic, to being a communist republic, which is absolutely contradictory to our values.
Mm-hmm.
And so talking about Catherine the Great, yes, that was a totally different system under what the opposite is with Putin. And then also, if I could just highlight, you got the picture of the crossing of the Delaware there, the Battle of Trenton, which was that picture encapsulates the American spirit, because the chips were down. That was December 25th, December 26th, 1776. Washington had about 3,000 colonial patriots that were left on the payroll, and their contracts were set to expire January 1, 1777, and they were getting their asses whooped. And this was like a last-ditch effort just to rally the troops and get some shit done. So they crossed the Delaware on Christmas night, attacked about 1,000 Hessians, which were German military contractors, while the Hessians were getting drunk.
Mercenaries.
Yep. And
mercenaries got drunk on duty?
Dude, they killed about 27 of them, I think, or 25. They captured around 930 of them. I think a couple of them fled. And then after that success, the colonists went back again around New Year's Eve and did it again to the English soldiers, and that changed the whole tide. Because remember, the war didn't end till 1783, and that helped enable them to get funding. And at the same time, Benjamin Franklin went to France and petitioned on the behalf of the colonists for foreign aid. That's where we got Marquis de Lafayette, and that's how we got external support to help us win our war that lasted another almost 8 years to ultimately be the most freest country in the world. But that picture, to me, that's the American spirit, because like all the chips are down, and their bona fides then was victory coming into the camp or death.
Victory or death, I love it.
And let's just send it,
Yep. Yeah, I wrote my final paper when I took a couple semesters at Northwest Florida. My final paper was on George Washington from my government class. And I remember telling Julie after I wrote the paper, I said, Julie, you got to understand this is coming from a soldier's mindset, knowing what it means to follow men in combat. And I said, Julie, they got their asses kicked for 2 years straight. And I go, I'm looking at this as a soldier going, would I continue to follow a man who keeps getting my ass kicked over and over and over? And I was like, there must have been something special about that guy for men to say, okay, got our ass kicked, got our ass kicked, got our ass kicked for 2 years straight, but I'm still going to follow you.
He held.
There was something unique there that, because honestly, I don't think I'd follow you, dude, if we got our ass kicked for a year straight. I'd probably
if
say,
I was leading and I got my ass kicked for a year straight, I'd be like, all right, somebody else.
yeah.
I can't believe I'm still alive.
Exactly.
After
This ain't working out, guys. Somebody else should maybe take over at
we
this
know,
point.
We know the people sitting here knows what that means from a soldier's standpoint. You're not going to follow a loser into battle over and over, but they did it, and why? I still don't know to this day, but I thought that was a pretty interesting tidbit about George Washington's leadership.
Something too about Washington. I read a whole leadership book on him, but he was actually revered even by the English as like this huge figure because
he was no bullshit.
Yeah, he was a general and he would push his commanders forward, and while dudes would retreat, he would run to the front on his horse and he would run the line because they used to line up, fight, and he'd run the line rallying the troops.
Yep.
So he'd get right in the front and be like, push forward.
Yeah.
And he'd be the first one there.
Yep.
And there was one battle where they said that they shot him. They shot him like 8 times, and one of them hit some kind of like thing that was in his jacket, and he had like 7 bullet holes in his jacket that were unexplained. They all hit his jacket, but somehow didn't hit him. And they say it was like divine intervention.
Yep, probably was.
It's just it's
dude.
Nuts
They tried to give him the keys of the kingdom and said, "Hey, we want you to," and he's like, "We just fought a war.
We're not going to be a monarchy."
And that's what he said. He's like, "I'm going home to my farm, like I said I was going to do. I don't want the keys of the kingdom, and you shouldn't offer them to anybody else because we just fought a war to end that." Like, how stupid are you?
And I believe he was also the one to push for like essentially the presidency should not be a military position.
Yeah.
And it should encourage non-generals.
But it helps to have military men,
civilians to run as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He. I also heard that he obviously was somebody of very high moral character.
Yeah.
If he caught any of his men raping women, pillaging, he would kill them. He would have them executed, and he made that like blatantly clear. Like, we are not the redcoats. We don't do that.
Yeah.
And to think like what you were saying. Like, these guys didn't even have shoes.
No. To follow that man in those circumstances and continue to lose blows my mind, dude, as a soldier.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Mr. Black. I just wanted to pull that picture back up.
There's a great series on Fox Nation, talks about George Washington specifically. I think it's like the birth of a revolutionary father or something like that.
Yep.
Watch it. They only have one season out right now. They're supposed to be launching season 2 soon. But, dude, it's great because it talks about what he did before. He wasn't even a military leader initially. No. He was a surveyor. His brother was an English commander for, I don't remember what level, maybe like a colonel or a major for the English military. And his brother was killed, and the English government recruited him to fight the Indians during the French-Indian War.
Yeah, when he was young. Yeah,
he really actually kicked off all the stuff because they were about to call a treaty, and because of Washington, he misread the situation, ambushed French patrol base, killed schwacked a colonel, and the letter that the colonel had on him was a peace treaty.
Yep.
And he brought it back to the English, and the English spun it, and they're like, nope, they're ready to go to war, and so they advanced more westward.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to create a border. It was crazy.
Yeah, I bought 4 or 5 of his diaries. You know, obviously reprinted, but not originals. But so before I wrote the paper, I read what he was writing, just daily notes to himself. That was pretty cool.
Oh, hey, we got a special visitor in this evening. I'd like to say hi to. We don't disclose names or information.
This is Mr. Orange.
Mr. Orange has just entered the building. We'll keep it at that. You know, along those lines too, I've never seen that, but have you guys ever seen John Adams with what's his name? It was an HBO series I think they did on John Adams. not Turncoat. It was what's his name? Paul Giamatti, I think, played him. Did you guys ever see that? It's really good. I mean, it's a docudrama. You know, it's not an actual documentary like they do on History Channel. It was actually like a drama. But so yeah, I thought that was extremely interesting. And Mr. Black's completely right. The dynamics of the politics of then and now are completely different. But I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, I would hope it's some moment in time here very soon, you know, and I think they're starting to work that out. I think there's mutual respect between Putin and Trump enough where they could come together and.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
And I also hate to say it, but I think the decay that the founding fathers fought against during the Revolutionary War has found its way back like a sick mold or vine up the Tree of Liberty, and it's
boy, evil never
infiltrated our
sleeps.
Congress.
Yeah, nailed it.
And we still have some good ones out there like Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, Ron Paul.
Massey.
Even, I mean, sometimes.
Massey, 2028.
Yeah, like, dude, you know, Elon Musk launched a new.
Yeah, the America. Is it the American Party?
The America Party. It's hard to kind of. I think a lot of his positions are agreeable.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to have a South African running the American Party.
Although he doesn't talk like a South African, but you know. So, anybody else have any other comments or anything on that last slide? Well, moving along, we will move to the next slide. I think
Is that shirt from Bucky's?
this one is not from Bucky's. Uh-oh, I got to remove this. It's causing havoc on this. Bear with me while I play some dinner music here for a second. There we go. Okay. So these are some more interesting facts around the 4th of July. So the independence was actually declared on July 2nd. The Continental Congress voted for independence on July 2nd, 1776. But the Declaration of Independence was officially adopted on the 4th, and that's the date that stuck. And actually, they most of the signers, the 56 signers, didn't even sign on that date. It took a lot of them several months before they accumulated all those names. You can see some stuff about John Adams here because the second interesting fact is John Adams refused to celebrate on the 4th. He believed that July 2nd was the correct day and reportedly refused to attend the July 4th celebration out of principle, even as president.
You know, John Adams was also a dumbass. He went to. He was a second.
Doesn't he make a good beer?
That's Sam Adams. And when he went to France, so Ben Franklin was America's first ambassador, and he was in France, dude.
Oh, he was doing some ambassading over there, over in
Ben
France.
Franklin. I mean, he got us everything that got us through the war, right? And he was crushing it over there. Dude was just a savant. And then
he
John
was crushing
Adams,
something.
Yeah, he's crushing a lot of things, as they say. Oh, listen to his theory of algorithm or something like that. It's crazy. His love letters to his anyway. And then so the second ambassador to France was John Adams, and John Adams wholly believed. He actually told the his French compatriot was something along the lines of like, the only people I hate, or he's like, the only people I hate more than the French are the British. This jackass said that in France when we're trying to get aid from them. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Well played, sir.
Yeah, and dude, he actually became persona non grata from France. They kicked him out.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. But
that,
John Adams, Ben Franklin, and there's one other. It might be Thomas Jefferson was the only one that signed all three documents: the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Treaty of Paris.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I think it's actually John Jay, not Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, I was going to say that I mean, those two men in particular, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, are, I mean, integral parts of the machine that became the United States. I mean, they were really front and center. I don't know if I included it, but I had the ages of some of these men. And like Washington, I think, was one of the older guys. He was 42 or 44, something like that. Yeah. A lot of these guys were in their 30s, 20s. Yeah.
Jefferson was like 25, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Crazy. So, okay, moving on to the next slide we got here. So, number 3, Founding Fathers, eerie connection. Both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, signers of the Declaration and former presidents, died on July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration was adopted. The 5th president, James Monroe, also died on July 4th in 1831, making him the 3rd president to die on Independence Day.
And while John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were both founding fathers, they did not see eye to eye either.
Really? Yep. I did not know that. It's interesting though that those two so that John Adams docudrama that I saw, and I mean obviously it's Hollywood, so take it with a grain of salt, but they had them literally dying within like an hour of each other, something along that line. It was really like they were almost
assassinations, maybe.
Well, or they were symbiotic. They had like a symbiotic relationship, kind of. Maybe they were just in the flow. They were in synchronicity.
So John Adams was a Federalist party, and Thomas Jefferson was Democratic Republican Party.
Ooh.
Okay.
By the way.
Number 4, fireworks are a tradition since 1777. The first Independence Day fireworks were set off in Philadelphia on July 4th, 1777, just 1 year after the Declaration. I wonder if they got a lot of those fireworks from China. You never know, Which actually, that'll come up here in a little bit.
When we light the fireworks.
Oh, man. It's getting dark, too, so we're almost ready. Number 5, 56 men signed the Declaration, but it wasn't all at once. Most signed on August 2nd, not July 4th.
Can I go back to bullet point 4?
Yeah, you want to go back? Let's
yeah.
Let's go back in
we
time.
don't have to click back. All right, so we're talking about 1777, the war started officially in 1776, didn't end until 1783, but even then, fiscal responsibility wasn't our thing. Because we got a war going on and we're popping off fireworks.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
Now there's a man on a budget.
That's kind of like P for plenty.
Yeah. So we're on the next one, right? Oh yeah. So number 6, Liberty Bell wasn't rung on July 4th. It likely didn't ring at all on July 4th, 1776, though it's since become a symbol of independence. The other caption on the right says, on July 8, 1776, the bell was rung to celebrate the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. After the British invasion of Philadelphia, the bell was hidden in a church until it could be safely returned to the State House. A popular icon of the new nation and its independence, it wasn't called the Liberty Bell until the 1830s, when an abolitionist group adopted it as the symbol of their own cause. As far as the crack in it, I read that happened around 1840, I believe, and since then it rendered it kind of inert, and it kind of furthered, I guess, the symbol of it, whereas, even with its, I forgot exactly what was said about it, but I think it was 1840 is when it cracked, and I guess they rang it too hard. So the next one we got is number 7. The U.S. flag has changed 27 times. I thought this one was pretty cool. Like all the designs that they had throughout the years and how they morphed into what we have today as our national standard. And some people confuse the Gadsden flag as being one of the America's original flags. And you can see here on the right, the original design of the Gadsden flag was created by Christopher Gadsden, a Charleston, South Carolina patriot and eventual brigadier general. It serves as a bold statement against British tyranny, warning any who would dare infringe upon American liberty. The rattlesnake symbol had been previously popularized by Benjamin Franklin in his Join or Die political cartoon, published in the Pennsylvania Gazette to promote unity among the American colonies. The cartoon displayed a snake broken into 8 pieces, each representing a coastal state or group of states of the 13 colonies. The 8 segments including New England, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and North and South Carolina. Georgia was excluded, but also missing from this political cartoon was Franklin's trademark humor. Rather, this was more of a warning to the English sympathizers. The symbol of the rattlesnake quickly spread across the colonies.
So I think a lot of people don't realize this was all wildly unpopular.
Yeah.
across.
It's even still today, kind of. I
Well,
mean,
just-
the last administration.
Just rebelling against England back then.
Yeah, they could have been killed.
Wasn't all right. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the join or die, that snake isn't, or no, is it the gas and flag? That is a naval, like the Navy used that as a patch, right? And then I think during Biden's administration, they actually banned it.
Well, it was considered a terrorist symbol.
Yeah.
And I love how Florida quickly adopted it to the license plates.
Yeah. Can the Navy use it now, though?
Shout out to Ron.
Yeah.
And I have one too.
Oh, you do? You have one? I need to get me one.
Hey, aren't Ron and Trump friends?
I think we're great friends. Little Ronnie and him, we're going to get along great. We're going to get along great. We're going to get a tan together and go to the tanning bed together. But not Jared Kushner.
The Navy can use the gas and flag again, or more accurately, a similar design called the First Navy Jack. Sorry. I remember it was wild seeing, fellow service members not being able to use their symbols
Yeah.
because of
Political correctness, I guess you could say.
Maoism, we'll call it.
Now, this next side, viewer discretion is advised. If you have a weak stomach and you don't like people shoving hot dogs in your mouth, this may not be for you. America eats 150 million hot dogs on July 4th. It's the biggest hot dog. This is July 5th, so never mind. It's the biggest hot dog holiday of the year, and Nathan's hot dog eating contest has become a staple of the day. What American doesn't know Joey Chestnut?
Yeah.
Joey, let me give a shout out
Joey
to
C?
Chestnut. Do you think does he have a, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but does he have a boyfriend? Or is he straight?
He doesn't have a gag reflex. We'll say that much.
I don't know if he's straight or gay. I just thought that was interesting.
I just know he can pound 70 hot dogs.
Well, look at the bottom there. Look at that plate of hot dogs.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
To eat that whole plate, oh my God.
Picture that in his gut.
And I mean, he's not a big guy.
No.
Like,
picture that the next day.
Oh my God.
A lot of the really good competitive eaters are actually.
Yeah, they're not
shape.
big. They're like, but like, I just, like, you can see the hot dog water, sweat, saliva rolling off of his hand as he's shoving a dog in his mouth.
Ugh.
Is that 2 dogs or in that first?
Sure, you don't have any
Yeah.
hot dogs here? I'm getting hungry.
That's a double dog.
I think a little mustard on mine.
He's gonna make somebody very happy.
Oh, keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, that's just gross. Moving on. Number 9. Only one U.S. president was born on July 4th. That's Calvin Coolidge. Other than that, he's pretty boring. The one cool thing is that President Harding died of, and you can even see, I'll just read the whole thing. On August 2nd, 1923, Calvin and Grace were vacationing at the Coolidge family home in Plymouth Notch. Nestled in watching Netflix for the night, in the middle of the night, the elder Coolidge woke his son after learning that President Warren G. Harding died of a heart attack at 2:24 a.m. In the presence of several reporters who had gathered, John Coolidge, a justice of the peace, gave his son the oath of office, swearing him in as the 30th president of the United States. And Calvin's first action as president was, I'm going back to bed. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Well, at least you know he's going to be pragmatic.
Yeah. I heard he's also somebody who was considered, he was not, he wasn't a smooth talker, chicken walker, a man of few words. He was a conservative, a fiscal conservative, I guess you could say. And I don't think he ran for a second term, and I don't think he wanted to. And they were like, he needs to run. They were trying to force him into running, but I don't think he did.
And he got woke up near the witching hour.
That's right.
He was like,
oh, yeah, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that right now.
No.
Go to that dark place.
That's right.
Yeah. But so moving right along for our next one, number 10. 4th of July wasn't a federal holiday until 1870. Congress made it an official unpaid holiday in 1870 and a paid federal holiday in 1941. And I just thought I'd throw in a couple numbers there as well. Like Congress, so for every year Congress is in session, they work about 50%. they have about 50% of the days they're doing something. So they work half of the time. Now they'll say that, okay, these people have other events and functions they have to go to that aren't actually calculated into that time they're spending on the House floor or actually working on fucking up our country even more. But, you know, you look at numbers like this, and yeah, these two stories, you know, they're dated a little bit. But the one with the Taliban, yeah, that was brought to light, you know, all the fraud and the $40 million going to the Taliban every week. Well, we're still doing that, unfortunately. Yeah. And the bigger thing is this, you know, hey, we don't know where that 21 trillion went. And we still don't know. And I mean, how do you lose 21 trillion?
Meanwhile, we have to fight for $5,000 of op fund for a 6-month deployment.
Yeah. I mean, and then this goes back into what we were talking about earlier about the big, beautiful dome that I'm going to put across America to protect the American people. And Mr. White, you said it was 178 billion for the dome?
I think it was 175 billion, yeah.
175 billion. I'm interested to, okay, so along that line as well, what will be put into finishing the wall on the southern border? Because that's actually be a good start for a dome. If you're going to do this invisible dome shit, maybe you should start on the border first.
I think the big beautiful bill allocated around 100 billion for that. Wow. I want to say.
All right, we'll see.
You know who's funneling that 40 million to Taliban?
Who?
USAID.
Hey! Oh, wrong one. They're still getting it done. God bless USAID. Yep. Wow. You'd think somebody'd lose their fucking job over that shit.
No.
All right, we won't press on that too much. It is the 5th, and we got fireworks to do. Speaking of fireworks, number 11, fireworks imports equals big business. Hello. Over 300 million worth of fireworks are imported to the U.S. each year, mostly from China. And, yeah, we're going to blast off some of them Chinese fireworks. Now, I heard an interesting theory, conspiracy theory.
That's true. It's true.
It's true.
Ben Franklin wanted the turkey as a national symbol, but he had a lot of good reason for it.
Well, I love turkey. You know, there's a picture of Benjamin Franklin right there on the left, as you can see.
With the white hair.
Kind of looks like Danny DeVito a little bit.
That's probably while it's that is actually a historic photo. No, that's Benjamin Franklin. That's
yeah, it's Benjamin. You can clearly see that's Benjamin Franklin there. He's in Philadelphia, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But what I was going to say before the turkey is that he's been like on Alex Jones. I've seen him in several places.
Benjamin Franklin?
He looks kind of like him, less hair. He was saying that a lot of bigger municipalities, metro areas, were doing away with fireworks, like because a lot of them were coming from China, because it was his theory that they were putting a delivery, like some kind of bacteria or something in the fireworks that it needed like a catalyst or a primer to, you know, and that's the fire. And then it would disperse in the air and drop on all these hot dog eating Joey chestnuts throughout the America lands. And like even my hometown, Milwaukee, this is the first time in 30 years they're not doing fireworks. They're doing a drone show. But then again, you know, we talked a while back about the whole drone situation with China. And how because they still have done this, they have taken off the geofencing for these drones that are coming in from China. Mr. Black?
I'll say as long as we're getting gunpowder from China to make our bullets, we'll use the same gunpowder to make our fireworks, because I remember during COVID when everybody told us to shut up and sit in our house. And
shut up, watch Netflix.
And the 4th of July ramped up, and people were still outside setting off firecrackers. I was like, hell yeah, we're
America. When that dirtbag snake oil salesman Gavin Newsom was like, "There's no fireworks this year. I'm canceling the 4th of July."
Dude, and they lit it up.
Yeah, they lit it up. I was
That's
like,
America.
Hell yeah, respect.
Victory or death, baby.
But and you know what? Turkey, that's a big bird. But you know the other thing that Franklin said that he thought it's interesting. He thought the eagle was a bird of bad moral character. Like, did he catch him hanging out with the British or something? Or
I think a lot of eagles are scavengers.
Yeah.
Specifically,
Well, yeah.
the bald eagle is a scavenger bird.
you know what? You're right. I seen this thing on
Flying trash panda.
They're just, hey, I've eaten out of garbage before. You know, they're beautiful birds. So, no turkey for dinner. Was that it? I think that was it. I think that. Oh, we have a special guest in studio. This is our legal department coming in. Go ahead and
Eagle.
legal. This is our legal eagle. Go ahead and.
Usually I'm legal beagle, but I just wanted to tell you guys. So I was on a trip in Alaska.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and they had this really big field outside of it, and it had like these posts sitting everywhere, and it was a Sunday, and the guy's like, so typically on Sunday, eagles. So to bring back the eagle, he said they're very smart because the landfill is closed on Sunday. He said any other day. So when you said trash panda, I got super tickled because every other day they are everywhere waiting for the trash.
Oh,
But
really?
they're smart enough to know that on Sunday there ain't no trash because the landfill's closed.
Sunday's our day off.
So Sunday's their day off. So not only are they trash pandas, they're really smart ones. You're
Well,
welcome.
I mean, most Americans we think of we're the sickest nation, the wealthiest nation. We eat a lot of trash.
Yeah.
But we are still pretty smart. I mean, most of us are. Smart enough. Smart enough. I'm putting out early for the American Party that Elon's getting on. I'm wanting Terry Crews to run, President Camacho.
Yep.
I'm hoping that we can get that done.
As long as he brings in his guy, not sure.
Who's this guy? Not sure.
Come here and fix everything.
I like the Department of Education guy. He's like cross-eyed. He's reading the book upside down, I think. So that I did want to bring up one other slide I did not show because it did happen yesterday, and I was like, I know I had that somewhere. So backtracking to Texas, on the left you can see these are some of the individuals that lost their lives, and in the middle you can see these are the girls that are missing. Some of them they're still missing. They actually have a picture you can see right as I'm pointing above that individual. Now that's allegedly one of the girls that's in this group photo here.
In a tree.
In a tree. And as you can see, what we know as of today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott declared a disaster in 15 central Texas counties on Friday night, promising they would have the resources they need for search and recovery. Mr. Black or Mr. White, do you think you could read off the rest of that? Because I can't see it from this angle. What to know.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott declared a disaster in 15 central Texas counties on Friday night, promising that they would have the resources they needed for search and recovery. Heavy rain overnight Thursday led to deadly catastrophic flooding in central Texas early Friday morning. State officials say 23 girls are missing from Camp Mystic, a summer camp for girls along the Guadalupe River. Several of the girls are from North Texas. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick vowed to the parents of the missing campers that rescuers would find their daughters. State officials have confirmed 24 fatalities so far. No identities have been confirmed. An undetermined number of others are also believed to be missing from the flooding. Caryville Mayor Joe Herring has declared a disaster in the town, and the Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours overnight near Hunt. The flood wave has reached Comfort and is expected to crest at 34 feet in Spring Branch Friday afternoon, which was yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely devastating. And I mean, we've said it already a couple times that pray for these people, because that is, you can see right there the area that was affected and how it's just concentrated. And lo and behold, I found this map of these enhancement projects. They're doing some kind of cloud seeding here, and it's right in that area that was affected. So
good job.
Who knows how much that
That's
has
a lot
to
of
do with
area.
it. Yeah,
Texas is huge, so to have that many counties impacted,
it's crazy.
That's the size of some other states.
Yeah, literally. And So hopefully there's some good news that comes out of this situation, and just pray for those folks. And I hope the response is not like what we saw after the hurricane that swept through South Carolina and North Carolina. I mean, I've got to think that Trump would probably be all over this, especially with a state like Texas.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene today actually petitioned for a bill to be in place similar to Florida's, where it bans geoengineering and cloud seeding federally.
Really?
Yep.
About damn time. Because they've been talking about, I mean, we did that that show a couple months ago, right?
Yep.
Well, actually, I think it was the Colonel and I, we did it. And we were talking about the cloud seeding and geoengineering and things like Project Storm Fury that started in 47. And, you know, these things have been going on for decades. This
Operation
isn't new.
Popeye in Vietnam.
Yeah,
They've been doing it for
Mr. Black had mentioned that.
80 years.
So we'll keep an eye on this, and other than that, that's about all we had scheduled for today.
I got some stats pulled up in
Hit
regards
us
to
with
that,
some knowledge, Mr. White.
$40 million a week going to the Taliban. So here's what that could pay for in the country. So education, you could hire about 800 full-time teachers every single week. You could fully renovate or rebuild 2 to 3 aging public schools per month. You could cover tuition for approximately 30,000 in-state public university students every year. For veteran support, you could build a new VA clinic every month, equipped and staffed, fund mental health care and PTSD treatment for tens of thousands of vets. You could pay for housing stipends or job training for over 50,000 homeless veterans per year. Infrastructure, resurface 100-plus miles of roads per week in underserved rural and urban areas. Add storm drainage, water, or energy grid upgrades in multiple towns per month. Install clean drinking water systems areas like Jackson, Flint, or the Navajo Nation. And it just keeps going with a bunch of...
It's like, you know what that reminds me of? Just reading that off. Like, remember Biden was like, we're going to get high-speed internet in the whole country. And they spent several $1 billion on it.
Yeah, and built like 7 of them.
Nothing. There were certain, we had discussed, they've done a couple things, but it wasn't what they presented it as, and it never is.
The only thing I've seen
always,
popping up across the
yeah,
country is those giant fields of solar panels, which are hideous.
Yep, they are.
And the irony, and it's supposed to be green, and you're cutting down how many trees for them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Put 'em on parking lots.
Oh, which one? Sorry, sir. Sorry, we're mailing it in here at the end because it's the end of the show, and we've had quite a bit of refreshments, but
The vegetables.
But you know, it was some interesting information, especially about just the 4th of July in general, and like for me, it's always a good holiday because the fireworks. But beyond that, just what it really means. There's nowhere. The guys in this table, we've all been to places and seen other parts of the world that most people never heard of and will never get an opportunity to see. And I thank God every day that I wake up in a country where I still have the ability to do something like this, because that's not the norm across the board on this very small blue dot in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy. And it makes me thankful and very thankful for what I do have. And I will fight to the death to keep it like that. And go ahead, Mr. Black, you want to say something?
Out of all the creations on this earth, God chose us to continue his message.
Amen. Amen. And, free will's it's a son of a gun, because you can't have good without bad, and you can't have light without dark. And unfortunately, some people, they're tempted by the dark things of this world, and it puts us in precarious situations. But there were, at one point, some men that said, fuck that. We're gonna look at a better way of doing things, and we're gonna give people an opportunity to govern themselves and release the shackles of monarchy and totalitarianism and feudalism. And there's a saying, and I forgot it, that it's what is it? the tree of liberty needs to be watered by the blood of patriots from time to time, and it's a somber saying, and it's a very real saying. What were you saying, Mr. Black?
It's Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. And I believe it. I think, I don't desire it, don't wish for it, but we should always make sure that we're doing what we can in our own inner circle and in our own little community to be a force for good and a positive force for those around us. So with that being said, I think we're done for tonight. Before we go, though, any closing comments from the men at the table before we say farewell and we blast off some fireworks and drink a little more ranch water and bourbon? Mr. Black, go ahead.
Thank God for the founding fathers that laid the framework for our American experiment. And thank God for giving them that avenue to do it, and continue prayers for all those affected by the Texas floods.
Amen.
And
Amen.
victory or death.
Victory or death. Anybody else? Bueller? Mr. White, no words of encouragement. Keep training. Keep fighting.
Don't be a bitch. Get out in the heat.
Bro.
Get out in the heat and train.
Good song. He's right. He's absolutely right.
Don't be a bitch.
Larry? Colonel?
Nope.
All right, then. Well, July 5th, 2025, another year down. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the ones around you. And want to thank you for tuning in. You can check us out on the X Machine at Liberty Ape 76. So until next time, I'll leave you with Plato's Cave. Long live liberty, America, and have a good night.